Hey, what's going on, guys and gals? In this particular video, we're going to be talking about the wing rack specifically and dealing with these quarter-inch outputs here, labeled 1 through 8. Now, what these represent are your mix buses. These outputs have a headphone amp built in, so you could literally just plug in a set of headphones and be able to hear through them just like you were running it through a headphone amp. Now, there's all kinds of cables that we can hook up to this. We can go directly in with a quarter-inch from your headphones. We can go from a XLR stereo to a quarter-inch stereo and use something like the PM1, which is strictly a volume control. It costs about $14. We're going to look at it here. You can get these from B&H Photo. Or you can sit here and come out with a quarter-inch stereo into a 1/8-inch female stereo. And if your headphones have the little 1/8-inch input jack, then you can connect directly to that. Let's go ahead and look at the PM1. Now, this little device, again, is simply a volume control knob. You would come out of the rack with the quarter-inch stereo into the XLR stereo, and then you can see where you would plug your headphones in with the 1/8-inch jack. Now, you can use earbuds. You can use anything you want to, as long as it has that stereo jack. And we're going to talk a little bit once we get finished with these pictures about how to properly set up your mix buses. Setting up the mix bus, when you do it properly, all these devices are going to work. I get so many emails from people that say, look, I just cannot get my mix buses set properly. And we're going to go over that. It's real easy to do. You just follow a couple principles and there'll be no issue with that. I'd like to give a big shout out to Wild Willie's Cable. His name is Bill Hubbard. He's down in Florida. He runs sound for a group these guys are booked years in advance. These are very high-end weddings. As you can see from his flyer here, that everything he uses is absolutely top-of-the-line audio gear. When he talks about the lifetime quality guarantee, that's what he means. He's very respected in the field. Okay, it's wildwilliescable@gmail.com. If you're looking for these specialized cables, this is the guy that you want to contact. Okay, so let's go ahead and jump over into Wing Edit, and let's talk about these mix buses. Now, the first thing I want to point out is my fader position on these two buses. I've got the headphone, and then I've got the PM1. And fader throw is this, or fader distance. And I'm showing you this because these headphone amps, if you bring this up to here, it's going to blow your eardrums out. Okay, so always start with these down low. Now, when it comes to the PM1, if you remember, we have a volume knob right there. And if we raise this all the way up, then when that volume knob goes from the 1 o'clock position, like a clock, to the 2 o'clock position, it's going to blow your eardrums out. Okay, so if we reduce this one for the PM1, now we can take that volume knob and we have, just like the fader throw, we can turn that knob until we get the desired loudness that we're looking for. Now, I can't tell you exactly what to set it at because I don't know how your hearing is. But I can tell you this, that if you raise this up past this unity on your headphone, or this, and you have your buses set up properly, you're going deaf. Okay? And believe it or not, I get this a lot. Dana, I've got to have it louder. I just can't hear it when I'm around the band. And just because you make it louder in your headphones or your in-ear monitors to drown out that stage noise, you've still got a hearing problem because that's just not the way the human hearing is set up to react. Okay? So let's go ahead And here I'm going to, if I click this, you'll see what we've got in this bus. Over here with the acoustics, they just wanted a little bit. When we talk about not going above or below unity more than 5, whether it's dB on your scale, whether it's the number 5, it just doesn't matter. When it comes to your in-ear monitor mix, that theory does not carry over. So if we do the same thing with the P1 now, you'll see it's totally different. So how do you properly set up your mix bus? Let's say that the PM1 is going to the lead vocalist. You always want that one up the highest. And then you build the rest of this mix to that input. If you're the drummer, then you would come over here to our drum kit. You see where I have these up all the way across, and then everything else is brought up to that drum kit. Whatever your position in the group is, you want that to be the loudest. If you're a keyboard player, then you want your keys up the loudest, and everything else is built to that mix. It's brought up to that mix. So let's go over and look at our buses now. We've got the bus 1 here, and as you can see, all of these are yellow and going in here. And if you click on this, you can sit there and look and see exactly what these points are. Your send mode. Everything, as you can see, we've got it going to the pan link. Okay, we're going pre-fader. Ignore the channel mute. We're going to set this to off. We do not want to ignore that. Send panning, link to channel pan. That's what we want to do. As you can see, the pan link comes up over here now. And then I'm not going to do these last two because it's going to mess up what I've already set. What I recommend is you set everything to 0 dBs, you set them on, and then you hit apply. Okay? And what that's going to do is that's going to bring all these inputs up to 0. And then you would go to your position in the group, leave it at 0, and then pull everything else down. And you will always have the perfect mix. Okay? Now I want to show you one other thing while we're here. Is if I come over here to this one here, as you can see, all of these are red. I've changed the scenario here on this. Okay? There is no set link here as far as what's going on with our panning. But we're going to go tap. We're going to set, again, we're going to ignore the channel mute. We're going to set this to off. And here, if we link to the channel pan, and then again, set everything to 0, set it on and apply. I'm not going to do that. But if you notice over here on bus 16, it's added in, but it's a lighter shade of green. Why is that? Well, if we come over here and look at the PM1 now, that fader's all the way down to unity. Watch what happens when I start to move it up just a little bit. You see it turn green? So if you ever see these buses dimmed out, it means you've added them in. You just haven't put any signal going to it. And I left that down on purpose just so I could use it as an example. Okay? Now at this point, what we're going to do is we'll come out of Sends on Fader over here. I'm going to come up here and we're going to play a little audio through here. We come right here. And we're going to click this one. I'm going to hit play. And as it comes up, we're going to go look at our meters. There's our 2 buses. Right there. Those are the ones we're concerned with. So as I bring this up, as you can see, if I bring this up close to unity, look how strong that signal is. That's why I'm saying if you've got headphones on, that is a very loud signal that's going to be going to your headphones. If I bring this up here close to unity, then you'll see when you're using the PM1, that volume knob, you're only going to be able to move it a 1/16 of an inch, a 1/64 of an inch before it's going to be too loud. That's why I highly recommend that if you're going to use the PM1, put this thing down around a -20. Okay, just to where that green and that yellow is starting to kiss each other, right there. Same way with your headphones. Keep these down and bring them up as you see fit as far as the loudness goes. Now, if you'll notice that these signals, these meters, are not side by side, okay? And that's reflecting the actual inputs that I have here that are panned. So if I bring this up, as you can see, I've got the 12-string panned all the way to the left. And I'm just going to use my right arrow on my keyboard to show you these are the different pannings that I have going on. And every bit of this will transfer over to your headphones, okay, or the PM1 or your inner monitors or whatever else that you want to do. Now, let's go ahead and jump over to the actual touchscreen of the Wing Rack, and I'll show you a couple things there as well. Now, when we come over here, you'll see that if we hit our bus and our main, there is our mains, there is our buses. These first 4 buses are going to come across here, and you can see the icons, what the name of it is. And if we come over, we're already in the bus screen, but normally we would be up in the channels. We just come down to the bus, and this is our volume knob right there. So in the studio, you don't need Wing Edit on this. Okay, if you're recording, you're tracking, whatever you want to do. Same way, by default, there's your mute and there's your solo. You see that bus 1 come on, that means solo. Okay, now you can come up here into your custom controls and you can set up the same thing. We're going to clear that solo. And here I've actually added this into the custom controls, but it's redundant. If you use those first 4 buses, that's what it's going to show right there, and you don't have to do anything. Okay? Again, the most important thing is building your mix bus. Whatever your position in the group is, start there. Take everything down. You take it all the way down to infinity. That's why you have that option here, and I'm going to go ahead and just pick bus 3 now. Go ahead and click on this, and we're going to say we want to add everything into it. Okay, we don't need these 2 though. Those are different inputs. We want it pre-fader. Ignore the channel mute. No, we're going to set that off. How do we want to send the panning? Send to the set to channel pan. That's what we're going to do. If we link the channel pan, I'm pretty sure this is going to go up here. If we change the panning, it's going to automatically follow that. Send level set to infinity. And then we're going to set it on and we're going to hit apply. And there we go. That is our pre-fader. As you can see, every one of these inputs now are dimmed out because we have not added any volume to them yet. So if we come down here and say, you know what, we want to add in our 2 buses here and our FX. Remember, we've got to add these in. Then we can sit here and just keep everything the same and set the on, hit apply. And you'll see these are post fader, and we want them post fader. Up here, the tap, the red, that's pre-fader. On our effects and our other buses, we want those post fader because if we move the inputs, just like on the vocal over here, if I move this up, I want that FX to increase. If I move it down, I want that FX to decrease. So now, we come over to our bus number 3, right here. What do we do first? We come over here and we name it. We're going to say keys. We're going to give it a color. We can come over here and give it an icon, whatever they're using. And that's bus 3. We can bring this up to anywhere up in this area to start with. You know, if you're doing this from the computer and you want to monitor it, you can bring this all the way up. If you're going to use headphones, guys, start somewhere low. Okay? So now if we come over to keys, as you can see, everything's dimmed out here. As soon as we start adding in some volume to these, then we're going to see these colors change. And the keyboards, okay, he's the key player. He could be the still player. He could be the piano player. So he would bring his up the highest and then bring up the rest of these that he wants to hear in relationship to his own instrument. And he may just want to hear the lead vocal. He may want to hear all his stuff. He might want to hear the bass player. And he might want to hear maybe just the kick. It just depends on what he or she wants to hear. But this will always be the loudest. So by doing this, now if we come off of this sends-on fader, go back to our meters, and we're going to play this same audio again. We'll see what kind of signal we're getting into that bus now. There's bus 3. Okay. If we come over on keys, look how low that is. See what happens when we rate? We're not even at unity yet, and we're already starting to kiss the yellow. That's how you properly set up a mix bus, especially if you're going to be using the built-in headphone amp or the PM1s. Then you definitely need to pay attention to this. This is crucial. Okay? I hope this has helped explain some of the issues as far as creating your mix bus and how you can actually use the Wing Rack in your studio or on stage to where you can sit there and do all of this by using your headphones, your favorite earbuds, and be able to control the volume, as well as if you want to use the Wing Q. Okay, so you can take your Wing Q, you can operate your bus from it. If you run it to the PM1, you can control it from the actual volume knob. Again, if you put this all the way up to unity or close to it, then you're going to have no volume throw. When you turn that knob, it's going to go from barely nothing to ear piercing within the 1/8 or 3/16 of an inch of just turning that knob. Okay? Take care, God bless, and we are out of here.